Good morning. Welcome to Pathways Podcast. I'm Aaron Groves, and I'm joined by two very special guests today, Jonathan and Lisa Van Hemert. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
We're pre-recording this, so we can edit. And,
You can edit that squeak I just did right there.
Yeah. So if you cough really loudly into the mic or something, we can edit it out. But thanks for joining us and being willing to come on and just share a little bit about your guys' story. And I guess that's. Well, let's start with this. We've been interviewing different people around Newton, the community of Newton that own businesses, like Christian business owners. And so what's your guys' business?
We have a dental practice, Hemert Family Dentistry.
Yeah.
We're just located right across from the hospital.
Right on.
We've been there, the practice has been there.
Long time.
I'm the third dentist, so decades.
Yeah.
Decades.
Yeah. We were there before you were there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we just joined forces with you, I guess.
Yeah.
It went well for my family.
Yeah. Good to have you.
Yeah. So let me ask a little bit, like what got you into dentistry, I guess?
That's a good question.
There's no short answers, I feel like.
No.
Hey, you were worried about not having enough.
Let's see. The long answer, I guess, I went to high school. I had no idea what I wanted to do with my life.
Yeah.
I went to college because I didn't want to work yet. My parents said either get a job or go to college.
Right.
So I went to college and...
You didn't have a lot of direction in life.
No, I didn't have any direction. I just wanted to get my degree so I could get out, basically. I still had no direction in my life. I was a business major in college. So I did that. I figured that would be kind of a general degree I could do something with.
Probably helped you out now, right?
Right, exactly. And graduated, and I ended up working at Principal Financial Group in Des Moines. And didn't take me very long to figure out that's not what I wanted to do with the rest of my life. So I had grown up. I went to Pella Christian Grade School, Pella Christian High School, went to Calvin College. So I went all Christian schools all through my life, basically. And I knew a lot about God. I just never really had a relationship with him. So it just kind of wasn't something that was a part of me other than I could answer your trivia questions, your Bible trivia questions, And so I wouldn't say walked away from my faith because that's not true, but I had stepped away from going to church, being an active member of the church, pursuing a relationship with God, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And my older sister had just had a baby, so my niece, and I love kids. So she used that as an opportunity to get me back into church. Mm. So she would entice me with, hey, why don't you come back to church with us? And eventually I was like, I'm good. You know what I mean? I'm good. I know I don't really want to. And
is this all done in Pella?
Sorry, this was in Des Moines when I was working at Principal. Yep. So my sister lived in Des Moines, and I was living in Des Moines. And so she would entice me by, well, if you come to church, I'm 22 years old. If you come to church, come over afterwards. I'll cook you lunch, and you can play with Ellie, who's my niece. Yeah. I'm like, sure, sounds good to me. You know? Yeah. And so I went, and the Lord was working on me, and so kind of stirred a fire back in my heart. So it didn't take very long. I started talking to a pastor friend at my parents' church, and I was like, I kind of feel like God's calling me to do some mission work. And I was not living the lifestyle that would have told you I should have done some mission work by any means. Yeah. And he's like, well, why don't you just pray on that? You know what I mean? And I think at the time, it was a foreign concept to me, even though I'd done all these Christian training, right? All these schools. Most of it was, please be a grandma. Please bless this food. Please be these people that are hurting. Never really thought to ask God a question and really wait for an answer, expecting him to answer me, And so I prayed, and I kind of felt like there was a settling in my heart that God was like, yeah, I want you to go for this. So reached out to this missionary that was at my parents' church. He was in Nicaragua, and I was thinking, well, I'll go for 6 months, right? It'd be fun. Do 6 months, come back, and carry on with my life, And so I reached out to him, and I said, hey, this is what I'm thinking about. Would you need anybody for 6 months? And he's like, well, I'm looking for a little more long-term commitment than that. But there's this school down there, Nicaragua Christian Academy, and sometimes they need help. A teacher might leave, and, you can see if they want to have somebody. So I was like, all right. So I reached out to the school, and graduate. I mean, granted, I had no educational background.
Yeah.
I went to school. That was my educational background. And so I reached out and said, hey, this is kind of what I'm thinking about. Do you have any positions available? And they came back to me and they're like, yeah, well, there's be a high school math teaching position available if you're all interested. And for me, math always kind of just was easy. So I was like, I can do that, you know? Yeah. And so I said, yeah, I might be interested in it. And he comes back to me, he goes, I'm looking for a 3-year commitment. I'm like, ooh, buddy. It's a little longer than 6 months. It's a little longer. So
and you didn't speak the language.
And well, it was an English-speaking school.
Sure.
So, but I didn't speak any Spanish, yeah. So anyways, he comes back to me and says that, and I'm like, So I go back to this pastor friend of mine, and he goes, well, what worst you can do is apply and keep praying on it, and if they offer the job, you can tell them no. Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. So I did that. Didn't think they'd ever offer me a position, having no teaching background. I was not a stellar student when I was in school. School came pretty easy to me, but I wasn't working at it. You know what I mean? And I went through several interviews, and eventually they said, yeah, we'd like to offer the job. And I'm like, ooh.
Now you
I was not expecting that. Yeah.
I was just trying to be obedient to
exactly. Yeah, exactly. And so they offered me the job. So this is a real long answer to how I became a dentist. Sorry.
No, I like it. Let's keep going.
Anyway, so I took the job, went down there, moved down there. And then like 4 months afterwards, I was down there. My sister that kind of got back to she died in a plane crash. And so I came back to the States and kind of said my goodbyes and did the funeral and all that stuff. And that was obviously a pretty big moment for me. Mm-hmm. But then came back, started teaching.
Went back to Nicaragua.
After 2 weeks, yeah. Okay. Took 2 weeks off basically to come to the States and do that. And then, that was a time for me where the Lord just really kind of pressed in on me. I think it was sobering, right? Like, how did I end up here? Like, my sister was a big part of this, and now she's gone. And I mean, it's a third world country, right? So power goes off pretty frequently, water go off a lot of days. I mean, there just wasn't time for all the distractions that I normally distracted myself with, you know.
The forced quiet and silence and solitude.
Right. Yeah. So, I just spent a lot of time with the Lord, and I met people that had faith completely different than I had ever seen, heard, or thought about.
What do you mean different? Like stronger, more dependent? Like what did it look
actually
like?
Thirsty, like really thirsty, praying in ways and expecting an answer, right? Like instead of just, Lord, do you want me to do this, right? And then just like, well, I feel pretty good about it. You know what I mean? Like literally expecting an answer. Yeah. And
praying in tongues,
praying on their knees. Like, not that you have to pray on your knees, but just like a body posture of reverence and a body posture of expecting, like waiting for someone, you know?
And even just culturally, like there was just more room a lot of times, right? Like in those countries for you to be different, expressive.
Yeah. So, and I was like, well, this is different. And at first it's this is weird, you know? And, but I see these people that have like this amazing faith, and I'm like, I want that.
Yeah.
You know, like I want that. And first, like I said, it's like a push away, like,
but then be weird,
but then it's like, right? You know, like I do want that. And I'm seeing these people like I'm like on a dirt road of my faith, and they're like on like an interstate. Like I just see them growing and growing and growing. It's just a completely different playing field, you know? And so I just had a lot of time to press into that. And so I had another 2.5 years left of that. And I'm not saying it's like overnight, but it was a gradual thing over time, right? And
meaning growing in your faith.
Yeah.
Growing into those deeper places.
Yeah. And I remember I started like carving out time in the evenings of just like praying and just waiting for an answer, even if I didn't hear it. And I would start getting like, sometimes I'd have like a dream, and the Lord would like literally just put like a Bible verse in front of my eyes, look like a neon light, and I like look it up, and it was like being answered like a prayer, you know. And I specifically remember this one time because like I had a motorcycle when I was down there, and I had to get my motorcycle relicensed, and I'm working during the day, and when you're down there, you can pay someone to do that for you. Like, go take my motorcycle, get it relicensed, come back. This will tell you about my maturity at the time. He brought it back with an empty gas tank, despite the money I gave him. I was super annoyed by it. So annoyed by it. And I remember this is like the first time, and I don't know why this memory sticks out. It was the first time like I was just livid with this guy, and all of a sudden like I got hit with a wave, and it's like, bring this to the Lord. And like that had never happened to me before. Normally I would have just like swore up and down about him in my mind, like what, blah, 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 you know, all this stuff. And it was like a sobering effect, like, oh, I can bring this to the Lord. So like I literally pushed my motorcycle home, and then I just like closed the door, and like I just like fell before the Lord, and I was like, this is different.
Yeah.
Like, this is different. Like, I could hear you telling me this. You know what I mean? So.
What a gift.
Yeah, I'm way in the weeds here.
No.
I love the weeds. I love the weeds so much.
I want you to keep going because we were going to go here anyway.
Yeah. So anyway, so that was kind of where I was like, I remember being like, this is different. Like, the Lord is like doing something here, right?
Yeah.
So the time of my 3 years was like coming to an end, and like, do I want to re-sign up? Do I not want to? Like, what's going on? So I was kind of before the Lord, and I just felt like He was telling me like this was good. I could do this if I wanted to, but He had something different, something more for me. So came back to the States and was kind of trying to decide if I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to do something in the medical field. My mom's a nurse. My dad's a chiropractor. Not that they ever put any pressure on me, but it was just something that I kind of felt like in my heart. I want to do something in healthcare.
Yeah.
And initially I was like, do I want to go to medical school or do I want to go to dental school? And either way I go, I'm not qualified to go because I didn't take any of those prerequisite courses. So I knew I was going back to undergrad. So I was a business major. I took like no science courses. In fact, I avoided any of the courses that would have made me do too much homework. So I was like, I got to do these courses now. Yeah. So I moved back to Iowa City. So I moved back to States. 3 days later, I was in summer school in Iowa City, subleasing an apartment from somebody. And anyway, so I started looking into medicine and dentistry. And some of the doctors were like, yeah, it's a good career, but I'm going to take a lot of call. And I work for the hospital, and it's all right, Yeah. And I talked to a lot of dentists, and they're like, yeah, I like it. I own my own business, set my hours, I enjoy it, work with my patients, don't take call usually, and that kind of stuff. And I was like, well, those guys seem okay. Those guys seem pretty happy. I think I'm going to be a dentist. And so, there's a very long answer to your question of how I became a dentist.
All right. At what point?
Well, and you didn't also know if you were going to even get in because,
I didn't know if I was going to get in. Yeah, I basically took, you have to take all the science courses over 4 years. I just took them all at once. I crammed them into 2 years.
27 were you?
I figured it, I figured it if I take classes summer, fall, spring, summer, fall, spring, summer, I could take all those science prereqs, all those math prereqs, and those are the only courses I would take because I already had my degree. And then I could get in 2 years. So I just did 2 years of undergrad, just those courses.
With the 18-year-olds. Yeah. The 20, going back.
Yeah.
What was your spiritual walk like during that time?
Yeah, good question. I mean, I was feeling pretty good about things when I came back. It's like I don't want to re-enter the rat race, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That kind of stuff. But I'd love to tell you, like, I kept that fire growing and kept going. And in some respects I did, but in some respects it was like I just got into, I got to get this done. Yeah. Like, I'm 27 years old. I got to get this done. I met Lisa not long afterwards. She was in Iowa City, and she hit on me at a bar. No, I'm kidding. She didn't. So anyway, so we got serious pretty quickly.
Mm-hmm. Well, we grew up together but didn't know each other.
Yeah.
So there was a mutual understanding. So the guy that he was subleasing from when he first moved back to Iowa City was somewhat of a mutual friend, and his girlfriend and I knew each other, and there was a going away party that we both ended up at and just ended up chatting, remembering that we were both from Pella, but like I don't even think he recognized me. I recognized him and sat down next to him and said, "Hey, do you know me?" Yeah. And like we just started chatting, and we were also kind of, everyone else was like married, like we were kind of getting to that age, so it was nice to just meet somebody that was single, that was from Pella, that we kind of knew each other, and you have that like foundational growing up understanding, and so
I want to pause.
Sure.
And I want to hear, how did you wind up in Iowa City? So we've kind of heard Jonathan's little story of getting there. Let's hear your story of how you wind up to where you meet Jonathan.
Another long story. Man.
We got time.
Yes. So grew up in Pella too. I went to public school. So like his dad was actually my chiropractor, but I never knew Jonathan. Like he dated somebody from my school. I dated somebody from his school. I think I rode in his Trans Am, scooping the loop in Pella one Sunday night.
Trans Am.
Pretty cool.
But I don't think we ever spoke to each other. And so graduated high school. I went to UNI, and then I went to beauty school. And so I was a hairdresser. And then I ended up working in Waterloo, Cedar Falls area, and then moved to the Iowa City area, and I just was working there, just trying to figure out life. A lot of people ended up getting married. Yeah. I made a lot of choices there that weren't normal for me. I think Iowa City is a hard place to be I think it's, sometimes we've talked about this, like growing up in Pella or growing up in what I might refer to as like the Christian bubble. When you're not in that anymore and you don't have the tools, it can be really difficult to make good choices.
Tell me about your bubble. Like,
Yeah.
when you grew up, were
Yeah.
were you a believer, and were you strong in your faith? And
Yeah.
then,
So we had really different experiences, I think, growing up in Pella, I would say. I, like everyone in Pella, went to church. Like, you just did it, which is a beautiful thing. But also sometimes then you're just doing it because everyone else is doing it, and you never actually make an active choice. You're doing it because that's where everyone goes to hang out and you don't want to miss out, which, again, beautiful thing because it leads to so much great stuff. But sometimes then there's not like that active moment of your heart, like really seeking the Lord. So we grew up going to church, probably more on holidays, kind of went seasonally. My parents ended up getting divorced, and so lived in a home. Obviously, I think that, most people would say pre-divorce, it wasn't the healthiest home.
yeah.
They really both tried, but they got to a point where they ended up getting divorced, I think, when I was in 8th grade.
8th grade. Gotcha.
And then Third Church in Pella, that's where we went. It's a great church. We love it. It's what, the way planted from. And, I think ever since I was really young, I think my heart has felt a lot of the Lord and the Holy Spirit. And I think as I've become an adult, I've recognized that. I don't think I knew because I wasn't around anyone that could explain like my sensitivity or my heart or my, the ways I connected to the Holy Spirit when I didn't even know what was happening. And I got pregnant in high school. And 15 in Pella, which adds another layer. It just does when you live in a small conservative town to go through something like that. And so the crazy part is, it's like I look back on that season and it's, there were so many people that said so many not great things, and there were so many people that were wonderful. Like, it's just both. Yeah. And I look back and it's also crazy. Like, I went to church every week, pregnant, like, I can't eat, right? It's like almost like an out-of-body experience to like, I don't know if I would do that right now, right? Like if I walked around wearing a scarlet letter, what it felt like, right? Of this thing that happened, she is not the thing, right? But the thing that happened, I still can't believe it. And it was obviously like the hardest thing I've ever been through, and would never change it for anything because it's what led me to, fall on my knees. That's those moments in life where it's like you have nothing left. And at that age, I didn't even realize how much he was carrying me. I can look back on it now and see it, and he's shown me in healing prayer and in encounters with him that he has shown me all of those moments that I needed to see. You were never alone. You were never abandoned. I was there every moment, even though you didn't even know it. Yeah. In the weeds.
Can I ask?
Yeah.
What at 15?
Yeah.
It could have been easy to say, I want to terminate the pregnancy.
Yeah.
What made you decide? Was there a wrestling at all, or was it like, no, I know I'm going to do this,
I think that's a great segue about the Christian bubble, because the beautiful part about that, of how uncomfortable we as people and even as Christians get when someone is outwardly, obviously, a thing has happened, right?
Yeah.
Like the other parents, like, I don't want my kid to do that. It's like this weird thing of like, even now people get weird about, not everyone, about even talking about it because everything is so wonderful for me now. Like, they're scared that their child will think it's okay to do those actions because then they'll see that, well, it ended up fine for her. She's great. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it triggers. It's like so many fears or what ifs or narratives that it's just interesting how people respond to all of that. And I think even at that age, getting pregnant, it's like, it was exactly that, right? Like, some people's fears were triggered. My mom protected me from a lot of what was said. It was said to her. Kind of everyone was triggered for every single, everything under the sun. So like, you shouldn't do adoption. You should do this. You shouldn't do this. You should do this. How can you let her do this? Yeah. And it's whatever their own personal fear or hurts were that were being triggered, right? Maybe they had an experience and adopted a child and it was a really bad situation. And so they didn't think that I should do adoption. And so that's overwhelming. Then you have, like, I remember one person, and I don't know if she would ever listen to this, but we've talked about it before, Tasha Brown, and Bo Brown's older sister. And I remember being in church one Sunday night, and it was a lot of kids that went to church, kind of like the way, right? Like we had the place that everybody went, and I don't remember what was going on, but friends all around me, and I just start sobbing, crying. Nobody said anything. It's super uncomfortable. We're all kids, right? But everyone knew what was wrong. And then Monday, or that week at school, and I don't remember what it was, but she put a note in my locker. I didn't even really know her. She was an older sister of a kid that was in my class that, he and I really weren't even close friends at that point. But there were so many people like that, like people willing to step out and just to say, like, I see you.
So it was a nice note.
It was. And that's the thing. It doesn't even matter what it said because I don't even remember. Yeah. It was that she stepped out and said, just even that she was thinking of me, that she would step past maybe some other people that were maybe gossiping about me, to step past that and come towards me. That mattered so much in a time where I felt so ostracized. I didn't know where I belonged. Yeah. I ostracized myself because I didn't know where I belonged. Yeah. There's just all of those things where when something like that happens, it changes you forever. And when you're 15, it's like you go through this life-changing thing, so you kind of don't fit anymore. And so I ended up graduating high school early for that reason. Yeah. I was just ready to move on. Yeah. And I ended up moving to Texas for a little bit. My dad lived down there. That was an interesting season, and I wanted to come back. And so then I went back and was at UNI after that. Yeah. Can
I do want to reattack that question though.
Yeah.
Like, was there a struggle to continue with the pregnancy?
Oh, sure. I didn't answer your question. Thank you.
That's all right.
Yeah. So that was, I was getting there and then I went somewhere else. So,
it's okay.
That was the other beautiful part about kind of being raised in a community that was, where Christian was the norm, because, whether your parents are talking about it at home, which mine didn't, you're hearing it everywhere else. And it's the norm. It's the normal to hear that I probably just wouldn't even consider an abortion at that point. And I didn't. It felt so far away. Yeah. It was never even on the table. To be quite honest, at that age, that's really hard. Well, any age, always hard. But I guess I should just speak for me. Man, like a choice that leads you to feeling so out of control is incredibly hard, right? Because you're in that moment and your life is forever changed. Like from that moment on, no matter, and I think that's the biggest thing, right? That we already talked to our kids about that. We probably talked with our kids about it quite early, but from my experience, it's like I want them to understand that like whatever you choose, whether you chose adoption to keep the child or an abortion, your life is forever changed by choosing that action. And I think somewhere in my knower, I knew that at that moment, like your life is forever changed. So like, what hard do you want to choose? And in that, so went to the doctor right away. My mom, when I finally told her, I was probably like 3 months pregnant. And Galen Vandazani, our wonderful doctor in Pella, I think he was on the board of Bethany Christian Services. I might be wrong. So right away, like, it's a small town. So I'm walking into the doctor's office. The receptionists know. So they give that knowing look to my mom, carrying tons of shame, right? Like feel like I have this scarlet letter on my shirt. But so kind, right? Like you can tell the difference when someone is like, where there's like the negativity versus it's just like this knowing and this like, oh, I just want to like help her and do something for them. And they were that way. And Galen right away brought up Bethany Christian Services, like that first, like that foundational like time of meeting, of dealing with stuff. It was adoption was right there on the table as an option if I chose not to parent. And so that was beautiful because my parents were divorced, right? And my mom had just started going back to school for social work. So this whole world of Bethany Christian Services felt really good and comfortable to her. I can't remember the timeline, and she actually started like either interning or working for them during all this with Marlene Hibma, who used to be the director there. There was just so many really cool touch points that just felt really comfortable. And my mom sat me down in a wonderful way and just was really specific about what her boundaries were and that she would not be parenting this child. And I was thankful for that because that matters. And I am so glad that she said that because so often that enmeshment that we kind of already had with, divorced parents, my mom and I going through a hard thing together, that can be really hard where like there's just not a lot of boundaries. And I am so thankful and proud of her that she did that because I'm sure that was incredibly hard for her.
Yeah.
But I needed to hear that, right? Because I needed to walk out, do that, what I call my death practice, walk it all the way out to the end. What is this going to look like? And I had a lot of room to make that decision. And I owe that to my mom. She let me know what she was willing to do and not willing to do. And so I had room to decide. And I started actually volunteering at the Bethany Christian Service office in Des Moines. Marlene was a gem, and she knew she could read what I needed. I needed control. I needed to be in it. I needed to try it on. And so I just would answer the phone call. I don't remember what I did. It's so long ago. I think that's the kind of crazy part. It's lifetimes ago. But I would just answer phones. I would see birth mothers come in. I would see prospective adoptive parents come in and just really see what it was like. And there was always this stack of birth families because they would put together a profile if they wanted to adopt. And most of the time, I might not be right in this, but I think they usually kept families local. But Madison's birth parents lived in another state but knew someone in Pella, and say they were willing to let them put their profile in the Pella area, the Pella office. And one day, really casually, she just said, "Hey, do you want to look at these?" And I was ready. And so it was a really beautiful time of choice, of that free will, this is what, I very much felt like I took my seat at the table to make that choice.
So who's Madison?
Madison is my daughter.
Okay, so
Yes.
Madison's your daughter?
Yes.
And so the adoptive parents
Yes.
weren't from the area.
No,
but
so it was such a gift. I mean, that's right,
Yeah.
where you can just see how God orchestrated all of this because Lori and Daryl lived in Tennessee and they had been struggling to conceive, I believe, and they were able to put their profile in there. And when I looked through the pile, it was them. When the birth father looked through the pile, it was them. When his parents, when my mom, it was just, that is where those are the pieces I can go back to, where I would never trade it because those are those knowing times in my life where I felt him so close. And I couldn't even name it then, but I knew it was him. I knew that this was him figuring all of this out for me, and I felt so sure.
Yeah.
I did. And it blows my mind, right? Because I look at kids that age now and it takes me back. It takes my breath away to be holy cow, you were so young. You were so young and you did this. And it's you did it because he carried you. And I can go back to that so many times in my life and say that why do you follow Jesus? It's because he's rescued me more times than I can count. He has picked me up and carried me in times that I could not carry myself.
What would you say to a young girl who's found herself in that exact same situation? What would you offer for words of support, or how would you tell them to find support?
Sure.
Or, what would you say to them? Maybe if someone's listening right now that's in your shoes that you were when you were 15.
Yeah. It's so hard. I think this is my brain, Aaron, but it's it's so nuanced, right? It's if they have a church family, right? Find someone in the church to talk to. There are so many people. I think the thing that we forget, and I'm guilty of this too, is people in leadership or people that you see elevated, or those people that you're kind of like him. I saw people thirsty and I wanted that. I think often, myself included, you can walk in and think there must be something different and special about them. They probably did not do what I just did, or they've probably not been in trouble in the way that I've been in trouble before. Yeah. So you feel shame and it keeps you from reaching out. Yeah. When you finally talk to them, you realize that they are where they're at, probably because they've been flat on their face at some point too.
Right.
So I think just letting them know that he is with them. The Lord is with them no matter what. They have never been alone. He is always there. There's always somebody there with them, and that take that step to find someone to talk to.
What would you say to a parent who maybe has a daughter?
Yeah.
That's where you were.
Yeah.
What would you say to that parent on how to
walk through that?
Yeah.
Find your own listening partner, number one. That's a rule now in our home, and I see that now as I parent, right? When you deal with your own triggers and your own children, Right? Because when your child does something that you wish they didn't or is in a hard situation, it's incredibly triggering and it brings up all your own junk. And I think that it's so important for caregivers when something like that is happening that they get their own help, right? Like because the overflow from them will help their child.
Yeah.
So like if you're not super triggered, pointing fingers, like whatever that looks like, whatever you do when you get angry, whatever you do when your bucket overflows, like if you're not doing that, your child will benefit, and then they will have the room to make a choice that they have to live with the consequences forever. And I believe, right, it's that thing that I think this is where my mom was, believing that the Holy Spirit will work in your child sometimes if you can get out of the way. And sometimes it depends on the parent and style and all of that, but I do believe that it's like, what if there is this peace in that moment of not, trying to force or fix or, make this outcome happen? Like, let's say you really want them to place the child for adoption or whatever, right? Like, give them the space, do your own work so that you can get out of the way and just love them through that. Yeah. Like, the natural consequence they're dealing with is enough, right? Like, they're in it. So love them and give them space to make this decision that already is forever altering. Yeah. And I think the grace also to yourself to know that your life is forever changed, right? Like at that age, I don't think I could really understand and I think the Lord protected me from this, to be honest, because I don't think I could carry it for everyone. But just like this was somebody's potential grandchild or great-grandchild, and they all had to grieve that too. But I think it touches a lot of different people, and I don't think I realized that until a lot later, but I think the Lord, kind of protected me from that. But everyone needs to grieve. Yeah. Grieve what choice your child made, grieve this thing that's now happened, whatever it is, right? But everybody needs the chance to be able to deal with their own feelings. Yeah. And I think you got to get help to do that.
Yeah. Right on.
Yeah.
So you go through all that. You wind up at beauty school.
Yes.
You wind up Waterloo, Cedar Falls area, and then eventually over in, what took you to Iowa City?
A boyfriend.
Before Jonathan.
Yes.
All right. So you wind up in Iowa City.
Yep.
You wind up sitting next to each other and chit-chatting.
And the cool part is, I have to interrupt with this, is so like in that season of life, seeking a lot of things from not the right places, right? Like I had a lot of trauma, a lot of attachment issues, a lot of just hurt and pain, abandonment stuff that I really was seeking love in all the wrong places. And I started to figure that out and had not been going to church at all, not been doing really anything at all. Always kind of had that knowing, but really kept it separate. Really tried to survive and power through on my own, right? I'm going to prove that I'm not a statistic. I'm not the stereotype of a girl that got pregnant at 15. I'm going to show everyone how capable I am. Bought a house when I was 19. You know what I mean? Like just anything and everything that showed success and capability in our culture. Right? Sure. I'm by myself. I can do this. I don't need anybody, but I desperately want, love and family. Anyways, 2 weeks before we ran into each other, I started to pray again and ask for the Lord to bring a man that loved Jesus into my life.
What got you to that point, though?
The Holy Spirit.
Going back to church?
No.
Did you just get connected with other believers? No.
Nothing.
Just the Holy Spirit.
Yes. Like, boom. Like it was a moment. And I know, too, I had a dream about him.
You want to talk about it?
It wasn't significant, but it was before I met him, and it was like I saw his dad's chiropractic practice where it used to be by the grade school, the Pella Christian grade school. And I just I saw that, I saw Jonathan, and he was like over here, and I started walking, and that's it. And it was super weird. Like, I was like, why am I, I thought it was more about his dad, like, as my chiropractor,
was that in the back of your mind, though, when he was at that party?
Very much so. Like, it was gathering? Like, whoa, this is weird. But at that point in my life, I didn't connect dots like that, like, spiritually, at all. But like, later, it was, like, in the back of my mind, but very over there. Because, like I said, I didn't connect dots. But then later, it was like like one of those mind-blowing experiences where the Lord kind of drops keys to connect things. Yeah. And he's like, do you remember that, do you remember that dream? And it's like, whoa, I do. Like,
Jonathan, you are her dream come true.
Right? Well, look at him.
Good to be me.
So I sat down next to him that time and I just said, do you know me? And then we started chatting. And the cool part was, I think I invited him out downtown Iowa City. He was busy. This is kind of symbolic. So I invited him to go out, probably have a drink or something, right? Yeah. He says no, busy. Texts me the next morning, asks me if I want to go to church. About fell off my chair, to be honest, because
That was your prayer.
well, totally, but also like it hit me square in the eyes, right? Nobody that I was really hanging out with at that point would have ever invited me to go to church.
Yeah.
It was this like full circle moment of even like Pella, where that would have been a normal thing. You know, it was this full circle moment of, wow, like that feels really familiar. And I kind of like that. And I kind of been asking for this, but also he's from Pella. I've sworn off everything, right? Because from that hurt, I will not go back to Pella. I will not be, it was triggering, to be really honest, right? Like even going back was really hard. Meeting people, running into people, it would just bring it all up. So like, but in my heart, like now I can look back and see, man, that also just kept me away from my faith because that also was like dumped into that bucket. That's Pella, that's Christianity, that's all the things, then that was all painful. So like that needs to just stay over here. So like, man, this, like if I was going to open this door, like this was going to be a lot to do.
Yeah.
Plus I had sworn off dating and I was going to move to Texas, which I had told him that night. And he's like, yes, you should
Yes,
go.
you should go.
So it was not love at first sight. Like there was another girl who I think was kind of interested in him. It was so great to chat with somebody, and I talk a lot and I don't know how to not talk right away about depthful things and my feelings, and I want to connect the dots. I want people to talk about their weeds and all of that, and he listened, which blew my mind. Like that part, it was like intense eye contact and listening, and so that was like, whoa. So that, I mean, it set it all apart right away.
What made you invite her to church?
Yeah. Well, I just gotten back. So like I said, my faith was really growing, and we
didn't really know
sat and talked for quite a while that
Yeah.
night, and I think it was maybe a week later. That's when she texted and said, "Do you want to meet me at?" I can't remember where her friends were.
Yeah,
but
we were downtown somewhere.
doesn't matter. And I was interested for sure. Well, like she said, it wasn't love at first sight, but I was like, I found her attractive, and I wanted to get to know her, right?
And the
So-
familiarity of just both
and-
being from Pella, I think was.
And so I had done the other way everybody else dates before, go out to the bar, hang out, all this stuff. And I just didn't, like my life was different. I didn't want it to be that way, you know what I mean? And so I would have probably never asked a girl to church before, but I was like, this is who I am now. I said, well, I'm just going to rip off the Band-Aid now and figure out who she is, right? So I was like, well, I'm going to invite her to church, and if she doesn't want to go and she thinks that's weird, then it's not the girl for me anyways. So I was going to church, and then
I think you got a
Just-
speeding ticket on the
just-
way to come pick me up.
yeah, so I was on Central America time. You know anything about Latin American countries, if you say you'll be there at noon, you'll probably be there at 1. You know what I mean? So I was still kind of catching up to that. And so anyways, I told her
You were cleaning your dad's office
church
in
was
Pella on the weekends. That's how
Yeah.
he was making money while he was in school.
Yeah.
So he was having to come back from Pella to Iowa City to take me to church.
Yeah.
And got a speeding ticket.
So, I was running behind, so I was catching up time. But, anyways, to answer your question, this is who I am. If you want to be with me, or if that's the girl I want to be with, then she's got to be down with that. So I figured I'd just rip off the Band-Aid right away.
It's
Figure
who
out who
he
she
is.
was,
That's who
you know?
he is. Like, it's like, that's one thing I love about him is it's like, this is it. And that was so attractive to me because I had spent most of my life hiding or wearing a mask of who would appeal to someone or please someone. And so it was like, it was shocking in a good way to meet someone that was like so steadfast.
Do you feel like you could be real and vulnerable with who you truly were?
Yeah, I think his personality opens that for other people. I think it can be hard at first because sometimes you don't want to.
Yeah.
Right? So like it's a mirror and it's an invitation, but I would say, especially for my personality then, where I didn't even know who I was, that was a really scary thing too and hard thing. Because you can correct me if I'm wrong, right? But like you expected that then, right? Like we're gonna be honest, and that's big for Jonathan. And I had spent a lot of my life not being honest with myself to survive.
Yeah.
And so the beautiful part about the Lord putting us together is he was a brick wall that I could run into that I needed when I needed to be honest.
Yeah.
And we're both pretty intense people in different ways. So like, but we match each other. And so like in that way, I could hit that brick wall and he was strong enough.
Yeah.
And that part almost brings me to tears because that's the thing. Like I'd been waiting my whole life for a man that would be a man that was strong enough for all of me. And there's a lot.
Yeah.
And vice versa. I feel things very deeply and my heart, I don't even know how to describe myself. That's hard, right? But like my softness, maybe, He showed me how to have thick skin, and I showed him how to have a soft heart.
What's
think
the
yeah.
saying at your office?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thick
Thick skin, but a soft heart.
Yeah.
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 It had to bring you two together to get to that saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
I was just going to reiterate one of the things you said. One of the things about Jonathan is, you get to the truth or what's going on. And that's one thing I noticed about you right away. Like, I can remember being outside the wrestling room and someone made an offhanded comment about something. And you're like, what do you mean by that? Like, explain that to me. Like, I was just like, oh, okay, whatever. But you're like, no, you want to know what's behind that comment.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it's one of your characteristics or one of your
Yeah. Idiosyncrasy
ways
I have.
God's wired is you want to know the truth and
Yep.
Yeah.
And he can smell it if it's not.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I think that's a lot of it is like he's kind of got a nose for it. So, like, his awareness in that way is special.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I gotta ask.
Sure.
Yeah.
And you can tell me I can't go here, but
We said nothing was off limits.
that's true. So
Sweating.
if you make an offhanded comment at home,
Yeah.
like for me, I would just be like, whatever. Does he circle back around? I was like, what do you mean by that? Or does he want to?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So there's no circling back around.
It's happened at that moment.
Right at this moment.
Oh, yeah.
And I want to know exactly what that means.
But kind of both ways. I
Yeah.
think both of us will
Yeah.
like, we've had to learn, right? In marriage. The timing and the place for that, right? Of like, should this happen now? But it's very important, I would say, to him and me, but more important to him that it's like to close that loop.
Yeah,
Like, what
sure.
do you mean by that? And I want to know now.
Sure.
Yeah.
So let's talk marriage. Like, you guys meet. Obviously don't go to Texas, or do you?
No, I didn't.
No.
No, so
And was he the reason you didn't go to Texas?
I would say yes. So he was going back to Nicaragua. So this was like August, September-ish. He was going back to Nica. He had already scheduled to go back to Thanksgiving because a lot of good friends still lived there and he loved the country. So he was going to go back for 2 weeks over Thanksgiving. And at the time, I was a hairdresser and rented a chair so I could kind of do what I wanted. And so I went with him. And we were in Miami on the way back and decided that we wanted to marry each other. Like, it was
Wait, how long are you guys dating? At
3
that point?
months, 4
Like
months.
3 or 4 months.
Wow.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
just
You just knew?
Knew.
Did you know?
Just knew.
Just
Yeah.
knew.
A couple weeks into it, I was like, I knew this is the girl I was going to marry.
Well, you're older, which I think
Yeah.
helps too, right?
sure.
It does.
Like,
And
when you're
there's-
younger,
yeah.
you kind of date, and you're like,
Right.
I
Yeah.
don't know. I want to.
we both
Yeah.
kind of knew it was going to be hard. Like, we both knew marriage was a lot. Like,
Yeah.
it was, I don't think we sugarcoated it. You still have no idea, but like,
Right.
we both were ready to say yes, like to take the adventure
Yeah.
piece. I think you said, like, your dad knew once he talked to you that like this was it, because that was not normal for him, normal behavior. And my mom was the same way, that it was just like, okay, like, whoa, but okay.
So you guys get engaged, and
Yeah.
are you still going to dental school? And
I'm not even in dental school yet. I'm an undergrad.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
This
You're
is still that
undergrad.
first year of undergrad.
You're still doing
I'm working.
dressing up some hair.
Yes. Yep.
Okay. And so
That's the other reason I knew she would stick with me. I was thinning up top there, and she was
He
doing
had to
my
get a
hair.
wife. He had to get a
And
wife
so-
before he went bald.
So I was like, all right, I'm good. She knows. She knows that hair's going.
yeah, yeah. So you get married.
Yeah.
What's it like? I mean, going to school, and essentially you're the breadwinner of the family, right? Doing hairdressing. Like, what's the dynamic like early on in that
Not
marriage?
good. It wasn't good.
It was. Good.
We were in hardcore survival mode.
Yeah.
Starting dental school, I got pregnant a year later.
No, we were married before I went to dental school. We were
That's
married.
right.
I was still
That's
an
right.
undergrad.
That's right. That's right.
We didn't know anything. So it's interesting. I was an undergrad, right? So I went back, had to do those science courses, and I go down to meet her dad for Christmas. So we had been dating maybe 3 months at this time, 2 months, I don't know, something like that. So I met her mom, hadn't met her sister yet. I mean, I don't think I knew who her sister was growing up, but so I go down to Texas for Christmas to meet the rest of her family, and so the first time I met her dad, I asked him if I could marry her. This is only been dating for like 2 months, so
And the
What do
joke
you
was
say?
that,
2 or 3 months.
I don't have
whatever
a
it was.
job.
It's like I said, I was like, I don't have a job. I'm still in school, but
I got a plan.
I love your daughter. I got a plan.
plan.
That's exactly right. So he said yes, and yeah. So anyways, life came, it didn't come fast, but it just came different than what we were expecting, what we were ready for, you know? So yeah, I was in school and she was working, and I think because we got married so fast, we didn't even take the time before to work out some of the things that were different about us. Some of the things that probably a longer dating relationship or a longer engagement would have
Brought to the surface.
But do you feel like because you were married, you were forced to
That's
work
what I'm saying.
through?
Yeah, exactly.
That
So
needed to happen for me.
At that point, we were like committed, and
Yeah.
I think she's the same way. Like when I took my vows, like I meant it seriously. Like
Right.
it wasn't I take you now until I'm bored.
Right.
You know what I mean? It was like it was a forever, right? Like I meant the vow.
And the Lord knew that. And I probably would have been a runner.
Yeah.
Honestly, like, and that's not anything personal to him. That's just my own coping.
Yeah.
I probably would have run.
Yeah. Well, I remember the first time I had a fight when we were dating. You came in the room. You're like, "Well, so I guess this is over."
Yeah.
I was like, "What are you talking
Yeah.
about?" Like,
It was really foreign to me. I mean, that's the thing. You don't realize the baggage you have until you are married. I feel like it brings everything, just all of our trauma, all of our issues, all of our not shared expectations, all of our family of origin beliefs that we didn't know everybody didn't do.
Yeah.
Just all of that stuff. And we both had a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there was a lot.
So yeah, we were married, but we were committed. So
Yeah.
we worked through it. It was stormy season for the first, I don't know, 3 or 4, 5 years.
It was. We were in
stormy.
survival. And then I got sick after I had Zeke, physically sick, like gut sick. That's only how we had to describe it. But like my body had a lot of like autoimmune type symptoms, incredibly tired, incredibly depressed, anxious, couldn't eat, couldn't gain weight after the pregnancy, just really, I mean, it's a more common thing now, but 12 years ago, doctors didn't know what to do with you.
Yeah.
And so I couldn't get help. I was supposed to be working, he was going to school. It was incredibly hard. And then Zeke, our oldest, we thought that
that's a whole nother story.
I know. It's a beautiful story, but the short version is we knew something wasn't quite right. His right side of his body wasn't working quite right. We kept noticing it. They kept pushing it off because it wasn't severe, which sometimes happens, right? If it's not like really bad, they're like, oh, he'll grow out of it. But, our knowers, it's like I knew, and my mom knower that like, no, this is different. Finally got him. I won't go through all the details. They thought he had cerebral palsy. And then said there's nothing you can do because technically if that's what it is, there's nothing you can do. And again, we've had so many moments in our lives with health stuff where I know that it's been the Holy Spirit that's been like, nope, there's other things. Like there are options here. Yeah. You have options. This is not the end of the road. Okay. Like be willing to step out of the box. Be willing to step out of the box, and there's other options for you. And so we started doing some different kinds of therapy. And the cool part is we thought Ezekiel meant God's strength, but it actually means God will strengthen. And we started doing all these different things, and literally like we came back to, we were at a neurologist, finally got into a pediatric neurologist. He's like, he does not have cerebral palsy. Like this is a completely different kid. We were doing some PT, and she wanted to come to do some of the other therapy we were doing. And it was like reflex integration, and just really, there's a lot of practitioners that do it, but then not a lot did.
Yeah,
and
there
was actually a lady that traveled all the way from the West Coast to Iowa City every 3 months, and that's who we were working with. And the PT gal wanted to come with us to our appointment because she's like, I want to see what's happening because this child is completely different.
He should not be like this. There should be no way that he should be doing this. Like we would be changing his diaper, and his his left arm and left leg would go up and down, move around, do what babies do, right? And his right arm and right leg would just lay there limp. So like half of his body was limp.
Like it worked, but he wouldn't use it.
Yeah, so if you picked it up
Yeah.
and initiate the movement, then he
Yeah.
would kind of move. But otherwise, just laying there, he would never initiate movements on his right side. And so, yeah, they said basically, initially, like, oh, there's nothing wrong with him. I'm like, what do you mean? Half of his body doesn't move.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? There's nothing wrong with this kid.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
And so anyways,
Yeah.
back to catch up to where she is, we started doing the stuff. We saw the neurologist, and he's like, he has cerebral palsy. And, you know, of course, then you're just weeping. Like, you're imagining all these things, and you start projecting your own fears onto your kid, right? I'm like, he's never gonna have any friends. He's never gonna get married. He's gonna, all
you go
the
way
things,
too far.
Yeah. And anyways, but yeah, much to Lisa's credit, more so than anything, she was she was willing to look into some alternative things and got him that therapy. And it was it was a miracle. I mean, even like you said, the physical therapist, the pediatrician, they're all like, this kid should not be getting better.
Mm-hmm.
He should not be getting better. Like with this diagnosis, you
Yeah.
don't come back from this.
Yeah.
You just don't.
Yeah.
And so I'm sorry I'm getting a little weepy. But
So God was answering.
God
We
will
know that
strengthen.
he was,
Right?
yeah.
That was his name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was his name.
And that's like not like, I think that's the right, like how many times we could write a book, I feel like, of the tangible moments in our life that we know it was him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like what I didn't share and I forgot and I was going to is another moment. So I went into labor early with Madison at 32 weeks, got put in an ambulance. It's surreal because I think like it was state basketball. So like all these kids were coming to visit me in the hospital. Like it's just weird and kind of cool, right? Like it was cool that they were willing to come. But in the ambulance ride on the way to the hospital, I had no experience, didn't hear stories about this, nothing growing up. And we got to the hospital and I told my mom that Jesus was in the ambulance with me holding my hand. And I know he was. And it was not up for question. Like, right? Like it was just, I knew he was with me. I know that he was involved in Zeke's healing. Like I know in my knower, like there's so many times in our life where we know it's been him that has rescued. We know it's been him that has protected. We know it's been him that has made a way. We know it's been him that there has been more money in our bank account than should have been when he didn't have a job. Yeah. Like there has been so many moments where, right, like that's how you build your faith. And when you're back at the bottom again, because you will go there again, right? Like there will be a time where it's like we don't fear that as much anymore, where we used to trying to hold on so tight to stay in those mountaintop seasons. I don't fear the lower spots anymore because we have so many times that he's come for us and not fixed it necessarily, but like.
But God was using that moment with Zeke to even bring you guys
together.
For
sure.
Yeah.
With him in the middle of it.
Yep.
You know,
Yeah.
with
Yep.
Jesus in the middle of it. And
well, because we were going to need him, right?
What a way
it's
to
like,
grow.
yeah.
And it's interesting, right? Because God will, because we had been in this rough season, like I said, and then all this is going down with Zeke, and it wasn't like it was immediately like things changed around, but it's like children have a way of softening your heart that no one else has. It can, even your spouse sometimes, you know, like, and so just that was an opportunity for God to come back into our hearts, where we were kind of having hardened hearts towards each other, so
gives us perspective, right? I mean, sometimes. I would say, and I think you'll agree, he and I sometimes need a brick wall to get perspective, right? Like sometimes you can get it from these little moments, which totally happens too, but I would say just the way we're wired or maybe life experience or, whatever, like, and I used to see him as a father that punished by doing that. That was always really hard for me. So like growing up, I believed that if you're a good father, you would make it easy for me. When there's codependence in the home, that usually exists, right? And so I would often then not understand, like, why are you letting this be hard? If you're a good father, you should fix this. And it's so interesting, right? Like just your childhood experiences or the people that you're around, like totally change how you see him. And through this, it just the ability to go through hard things with him kind of gave me the opportunity to see that he's not punishing me. He loves me, right? So like once you become a parent, you somewhat see that, right? Like I've got to let my kids go through hard things. I have to let them learn how to do this so I can go back to, all the hard things that I've been through. I wouldn't trade him for the world because of the character it built, because of the connection to the Lord it built. And I don't want to take that from my kids, but I want them, right? But at the end of the day, what matters is who God is and who he says I am. Because if I think that he is a punishing father, literally every experience that I have is going to be perverted from that. Like everything flows from that. So like when we're not doing well, that's like the question we have to go back to, like way, way, way down is like, who do you think God is right now? Right. And who does he say I am, right? So like...
Wasn't that what Kevin says, right? Like
right.
The most important thing about you is what you think about the Father.
Right.
Who you believe the Father is, right? I think it's a really good point.
It is. And it helps in those seasons because often, right, and I've been in the season since then where I close off to him because I'll pick that back up. I pick it up often of who the Father is. Like, it's like, why is this so hard? We've done so many hard things. Like, why are we doing another hard thing? And
there's
you can
more to be developed.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Right, exactly.
What? So you have Zeke. You go through this hard season. when do you graduate from dental school?
2015. So Zeke was 3. I think
And Ezra was 2 weeks old.
Ezra was 2 weeks old.
Okay.
We had another
So
one.
you have 2.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So Zeke and Ezra.
That's right. Yep.
And then do things get easier or more difficult when you graduate?
Oh,
from
we
dental
thought they
school?
were going to be easier because that's what we said. Let's just get through dental school.
Yeah,
Let's just
right.
get through
That's
dental
life
school.
though, right? Just
Yeah.
Yes.
can't wait to get to here, and then
Yes.
get to here, and we always think that that's
Yeah.
going to be the moment, and it's like,
So we had
Yeah.
a big drop because we had been holding on for dear life for that.
yeah.
Speaking of that, is Zeke?
Yeah. Is he texting?
He's babysitting the kids right now.
Oh, yeah. You,
Yeah.
can, you talk and I'll talk to the babysitter.
Let's see. So did it get easier after that? I mean, yes and no, right? I mean,
You got a job.
We were finally had a job. We had been
That got
married. We
easier.
had been married for 5 years, and I finally got a job.
Good
Yeah.
dad. Yeah.
So yeah, I graduated. We moved up to Waverly, Iowa. Well, I guess technically we're in Cedar Falls at first, but moved up to Waverly, Iowa, and got a job. And
As a dentist. I'm
as a
assuming.
dentist, yes.
Yep.
As a dentist, yes. That's right.
That'd be weird to go through all that school and then be like, and then I became a Walmart clerk.
With a lot of student debt.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, it was different, right? So like now all of a sudden the dynamics changed. Lisa was at home. She was with the kids, which is what we had always wanted.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean we know how to do it.
Right, exactly. So we had always, one of the qualities that I fell in love with Lisa about is I could just tell almost immediately that she was be a fantastic mom, which she is.
Yeah.
And I just wanted my kids to have a wonderful mom, you know?
Yeah.
And so we wanted her to always be home. And so she was home and I went to work. And it's interesting because we'd been waiting for this moment, like I said, for me to work. And that was fine. Like, work was fine.
Mm-hmm.
But we moved to Waverly and went to this church. It was full of weird people.
We picked the weird church in town.
And I mean, weird in a good way, but
Right.
it was just, it was the weird church. And it's funny because our friends are the pastors there still. And like, they like revel in the fact that they're the weird people and
Right.
they
Yeah.
should, you know what I mean?
Right.
But it was the
In all the
weird-
best ways.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
Yeah.
It was the weird church. And again, it was like the same thing as like I was in Nicaragua. It was like people like hungering and thirsting for the Lord and like waiting for him. And yeah, they would talk and the Spirit works in me, pray in tongues. And they were even just like every aspect of their life was looked through the lens of, well, how does this affect my walk with the Lord? What does the Lord want from me?
It was a priority all the time.
And it was everything. It was
Yeah.
it was to it even in a different degree than somewhat than what I saw in Nicaragua. Like every filter was through what does the Lord want from me? What does the Lord think about this? How does this affect my relationship with the Lord? And they were totally okay. Like just if church needed to stop because we were going to pray for somebody and the sermon needed to be over and it was right in the middle of it, like they were fine with it. You know what I mean? And so that was, Lisa dove headlong into that because she made really good friends with pastor there. And she was now, like when we first started to get together, Mike and Faith was miles ahead of her.
I couldn't even pray out loud.
She couldn't even pray out loud.
So much shame.
Couldn't even pray out loud.
Yeah.
And now we're in this season where I had been working so hard with school and getting my job, and now she's connected here, and like she is just like catching up to me and passing me by.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
That was hard.
it was hard, not even from like not like a competitiveness, like it was
No.
hard, but it was hard because it was like, where are you going? What are you doing? You know what I mean? And she was just on a run with.
Do you
with her
feel like
faith.
your faith at that point was kind of stagnant?
Oh, very much so.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had been working so hard to get through school, and that's not like, I'm not saying that as an excuse, but that became my priority. My priorities had shifted.
Yeah.
And I very much felt the responsibility of, like, we're together. We have this plan. I need to hold the end of the bargain, right? Like, I need to get through school. I need to get the job. I need to support you. I need to support my children.
Like, how do I be a provider and have time for all that? Like,
Yeah, and I took that. I have an over sense of responsibility for that to this day, though, which I still kind of have come back. Like,
yeah.
I was always like, want to have fun. I didn't want to do any responsibility, and I completely swung the pendulum the other way.
Yeah.
I was like, I got to take care of these people. These
Yeah.
people rely on me, you know. And so my focus became that. And so anyway, she's just taken off with her faith. And so that was a weird dynamic for us in our relationship, right? Because now everything had shifted. Like I was the one that was further ahead of my faith, and now I'm behind, right? But yet I'm doing all these things to support you and the kids, and like I don't feel fully appreciated for it.
Yeah.
And to her credit, not that it doesn't matter, but this matters more. You know what I mean? And so that was a tough season for our marriage, and for different ways. You're noticing a theme here, right? And so so we were in Waverly, and it was tough, but in a different way. Like, it was tough in that way. It was different. Like, we were just spiritually on completely different. Again, I was on the gravel road, and now she's on the interstate, and she's just going and going and going.
We had really awesome people in our life, though.
We did, and that was the thing, right? Like, I think, again, the Lord put community around us that, like,
They
they could see that we were struggling, right?
Yeah.
And they would take the time to come over and pray with us and talk with us.
We had people to do life with in a way that we
yeah.
had never experienced.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he did in Nicaragua,
Yeah.
but I had never
Not as a
experienced
couple.
that. Yeah.
We didn't have that as a couple.
And so
Yeah.
we finally had people that they were not uncomfortable to come into our dark places at all. I had never experienced that. I had never experienced, if I'm really honest, somebody that could handle me. Like I have a lot of feelings. I have a lot going on in my head. I have a lot to say, and there was no ruffling.
So for somebody outside of our family to be able to deal with that.
To just be able to like hold space.
Yeah.
No judgment, no preaching, no telling us what to do, because we just needed a safe place. We needed a safe place where you didn't try to fix us. It was just, this is hard, period.
Yeah.
And then to pray with us and to intentionally pray. Like, we weren't sitting around like praying for our dinner. We were doing spiritual warfare.
Yeah.
Like, it was something I'd never experienced before, but it changed everything.
What a beautiful gift God gives us through
Yeah.
church family.
It was.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
It's awesome.
So that was that, and we were in the right place. I mean, the weird church was the right place for us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it
Yeah.
was good. So thank God for that season too. And
Yeah.
the people He puts in our life.
What
Yeah.
called you out of Waverly then?
Oh, job. So I had originally gone up to there and intended on partnering with a guy in a practice, and didn't work out. I'd say more my fault than his, honestly. Meaning I didn't appreciate the opportunity that was in front of me. I don't think I was ready to.
Didn't have enough life experience yet to know what we had.
So
It was incredibly hard to leave, though.
we left, and he basically was like, "Do you want to buy in this practice or not?" And I said no, and he was like, "Well, then we're gonna have to figure out what we're gonna do." That kind of left the season. What's up?
But it was a beautiful moment of him being a leader in our family, because all of my feels wanted to stay. I didn't want it to be hard. I'd found my people. I'd found friends that I'd never experienced before. And what I appreciated about him is, even though that was incredibly hard, to look at me and say, but in my gut, I know we're supposed to go. And in my gut, I know that we're like, not for like bad or good or right or wrong, but like, I know we're supposed to go.
Yeah.
And like, so for him to have to say that to me when like we were crying every night because I didn't want to go. But that's, again, like when his gut says something, like, to me, it's like.
When you say gut, is that the Spirit talking to you?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. So then we left, and we hadn't left yet, but I left that practice. And at that point, there was like the scramble was on. I was like, I want to get a dental practice, and we were like, we're gonna move to Colorado. We're gonna get a dental
Tried
practice.
to force a lot of things.
Yeah. So
All the wants.
I almost bought a practice in Colorado, and like we were like running to the end of the line, and same thing. The Lord was like, "This isn't the one. Like, you're trying to ramrod this."
And I wanted it so bad. Like, we flew out there. Like, in Colorado,
Yeah.
the dental practices are so hard to get. You have to interview to even be able to bid.
Yeah.
So they have to choose you to even be able to bid for the price of it or whatever, offer, like a house, right? And it's a funny story. We have
And
to
they
tell
chose
this.
us, yeah.
Yeah, they did. Yeah. So we're in the car. So this is such great evidence of like your inability sometimes as a human to be honest with yourself. We're sitting in the car
100%.
waiting.
Well, so
Go ahead.
I went out to interview this to be able to buy this practice, and so I went out, and I was in a line. Like, I could see the guy before me coming out the door. You know what I mean? And so I went in and had my interview, and I was like, that was a good interview. And so anyways, he, with his rep, called me back and be like, all right, so like we've narrowed down to 3 people. Like, you're one of the 3. Now we want you to come back with your wife. I'm like, I thought that was it, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
And
Because it's a lot. We have 2 small kids.
but I get it,
like,
because
for
he's
sure.
like, if you guys are going to move from Iowa and your wife's going to come, like, we want to know that your wife wants to come to Colorado.
Sure.
Yeah.
You know? So I come back home. At this point, I'm unemployed. And
Yes.
so I'm like, hey, guess what? We're gonna have to fly to Colorado again. And she's like, what? And so we go out there and like we do the interview again. Again, you can see the people leave. Like we're the middle one. People coming out before us, and then we could see the other people waiting to come in after us. And we got done, and like they're like, you guys should probably stick around. We're like, yeah.
Feels good to be chosen, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the part
Yeah.
too. Like, yeah.
And so we go, and we're just waiting, and it's like a 2-hour time window or whatever it is. And so this is what Lisa was talking about. We're sitting in the car waiting, and a buddy of mine lives in Denver, and so he let me borrow his truck, and we're just sitting in the truck, just waiting for time to pass. And the song "Mercy Me, Even If" comes on. You know the song I'm talking about. We somehow screw up
We
the
twisted
lyrics
it,
of that
man.
song to think that like somehow it's good for us. You know what I mean? I don't know what was going on.
It's so,
But
but
you
that's
just hear
human
what you
nature.
wanna hear.
Like how much
You know
we
what I mean?
twisted that to say that it was going to happen.
Yeah.
When that song is literally like,
And we had a conversation, and neither one of us picked up that maybe this is not the right song to think about that. And,
but it's such a gift to have
yeah.
that memory because it really reminds you like how much we can put our own desire and like in the way to the point that we say God's telling us to do this, and it's like we remember that a lot of like you got to discern that takes more than just like some happy feelings.
Yeah,
you know.
exactly.
For me, especially, like that's my jam. So it's like I remember that a lot.
Yeah. So they come back like, we want you to buy the practice. We're like, sweet, we're so excited, and we wanted to move to Colorado. We thought it'd be great, And get back home, start doing the due diligence with the accountant and the lawyer and all that, and same thing happens again. And I feel like the Lord's like, nope.
I was so mad at him. so mad.
So I come in and I'm like,
At that
Lise,
point, I just wanted something because I wanted safety.
Yeah.
Safety is a huge thing for me. Like just that can be financial. That can be, for me, it was probably more just knowing where we were going.
Yeah.
So at that point, I was going to ramrod anything to get it
Right.
done. I'm like,
you
just
got
pick
two young
something.
boys to worry about.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't even
Yeah,
care. Pick
exactly.
something. We just need a plan.
Yeah.
Rather than like holding space with patience.
Yeah.
I did not want to do that.
Yeah.
So I had to tell her I don't think this is the one for us, despite all of that effort, and all
What
the
was
money
the
we
look
just
on her
spent.
face when you said that?
Oh, you
You probably do not want to see that look.
Yeah, she wasn't very happy with me.
I think I cried a lot. I don't
she did
tend to
cry a
like
lot.
look really angry. I get really like I cry,
Yeah.
which is hard for him, right? Like 'cause that's
Yeah.
I'm just a crier.
So we walked away from that, and what was your question? What was next, basically?
Well, yeah. Like,
Yeah.
so then what?
Yeah,
Like,
so we walk away from that. So now I just got to eat humble pie and get a job, basically.
yeah.
Yeah. So
And where's that at?
Oskaloosa, Iowa.
Okay.
Yeah,
At a
so-
dental practice?
At a dental practice in Oskaloosa, Iowa. Yes.
Yeah.
So we went from a full single family home to a 600 square foot apartment. And
That was
In a
fun.
college town.
it was And
But what was cool, what we said, we both got to live out our dream of living above a coffee shop.
yeah, it's true.
Just it would have been great if we didn't do it with two kids.
Yeah.
So were you downtown on the square then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which was kind of fun.
Yeah.
Not great with kids. It's like the things you don't think about, like where do we put our bikes? Like what do we
Yeah.
do?
Yeah.
How
But
do you get a stroller up the stairs?
yep.
Yeah, all the things. Yeah.
We took it, I think in those moments, I take it as a challenge.
Yeah.
Like, okay, like now I'm going to do this, like, and we're going to do it well, and this is going to be good.
Yeah.
And we always, at that moment too, like we kept kind of circling the area, but I had always said I would never move back to Pella.
Right.
And he wanted to, I think, more than me, but he honored how big of a deal that was for me, that I needed to be a full yes and not just doing it for him, because that would affect.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's lightning
Thunder.
and thundering around
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
All right.
So we moved to Oskaloosa, Iowa, and I worked there for about 4 months. It was not a good fit. So
Yeah.
ended up parting ways there, and then I took.
And I was mad at him that he wasn't a good fit,
Yeah.
right? Like I blamed him, even though it always takes two.
Yeah.
Like there's always a reason why, and that's reasonable, right? Like it's such a thing where it's like, well, why? And it's like, who would think that it's like a marriage? Like you can just walk in and both like, run a practice together, and it's just going to be perfectly fine. Like that doesn't like it's okay for that not to happen. But I didn't feel that way then. Like at that point, I was really angry that I really wanted to fix him,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
also my jam.
Yeah.
So it's like if you would have if you could just, right? So I'm sure like that wasn't great for your heart in that season.
Yeah, that's tough. Yeah.
Yeah.
So after Oskaloosa.
Went to Marshtown,
Marshalltown.
living in Pella at this point. We moved out of
So you wound up in Pella.
She did.
I finally said I would go.
Yeah. So
And the Lord
we
orchestrated that season to
got
heal
a rental
me.
in Pella, and I.
So,
So
you're driving
when you're a dentist, if you don't own the practice, typically there's a non-compete clause. So if you set your stake in a practice, there's usually like a radius around it that you can no longer practice in that for 1 to 2 years afterwards. And so I was trying to find places as a job that I didn't want to end up living. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I ended up in Marshalltown.
So the commute was
There's
worth
nothing
it.
wrong with Marshalltown. I just didn't want to live there.
Right.
So then I went to Marshalltown so I could get a job while I was looking for a practice to buy. And in that time, so buying a practice can be like buying a home, and the fact that like if there's a limited number of practices available, lots of people want them, and if it's a good practice, lots of people want that practice.
Yeah.
And oftentimes the good one's never at the market. And so I got kind of tired of running that rat race, and so I spoke to some dental reps, and I'm like, give me a radius around Des Moines, Pella, Iowa City. Those are the areas
That we were wanted.
I said I want like a 25, 30-mile radius around each one of those places. And I want to know the names of some doctors that
Are old.
are 65 around, ready to retire. I'm going to knock on their door, and I'm going to see if they'll sell me their practice. And the guy, he's like, that's never going to work, dude. And I think even you were a little skeptical if that was going to work.
We were desperate.
Everybody was telling me, dude, that you're wasting your time. That is not going to work. Well, one of the names I got was Bob Kuhn here in Newton. And so I drove up one day, and it was lunch hour. So, of course, I tried him at lunch hour so they could talk to me. And I walked
But receptionists are always awesome at playing defense.
Yeah, they play
defense,
defense,
right?
They do it for me now. It's great.
Yeah.
Right. Because like, who is this guy? Like, you could be anybody.
Yeah. So I walk in, and he's not there. I said, "Is Dr. Kuhn here?" And Barb, who ended up working for me, Barb's like, "No, he's not. He's not available." And like, if you've ever seen my building, it's a very small building. There is a basement, but most people don't know that, including myself at the time. And I'm like, I'm sure he can hear me right now. And I'm like, and so I spoke up a little louder, but I was like, yeah, so I just like to talk to him. She's like, well, who are you and what do you want? I'm like, I'm just another dentist. I'm not trying to sell you anything. I just want to chat with him. And she's like, okay, do you have any information? And then I was like, don't, like I should have had all the stuff ready. So I give her my information, and I walked out, and I'm like, she's throwing that in the trash. 100.
Oh. It's a tornado warning.
Tornado warning.
Uh-oh.
For Jasper?
Yeah, sorry. I'm going to tell Zeke to go downstairs.
Might have to edit this part out.
Yeah.
Never had this happen before.
It's because the Van Hemerts are here.
Yeah.
Real life, if you're listening.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Should we keep going?
I'm not scared.
No, I am not either.
It's clear up till 3:15, so
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
we got a little while, but anyway.
Yeah. So what was I saying?
But you saw she's gonna throw
she's
your
gonna throw away my number. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly right.
I'm just going to hold my phone because my children have
Yeah.
one.
Yeah. And so, like 2 weeks later, he calls me out of the blue and says, "Hey, this is Bob Kuhn. What do you want?" Basically.
Yeah.
And I said, "Well, I'd like to know if you'd be interested in selling me your dental practice." And he just got, if you know Bob, he's got kind of a dry sense of humor. I enjoy that about him. But he just kind of let that hang in the air for a minute. Didn't say anything for like 5 seconds, and it's like the longest 5 seconds, He goes, well, I'm gonna do Ragbri, and then I'm gonna take a trip to Ireland, and I'll let you know when I get back.
We're not going to hear back from him.
So he takes a trip, which again I think was the Lord, because he's got like these awesome things coming up. He got a taste of retirement, right?
Yeah.
Like this little taste of like, oh, this is what this could be like all
And
the time.
some time to think,
Too.
Yeah.
And a time away to think, exactly. So I didn't think I'd hear anything from him. I figured that was his polite way of telling me no thanks, without probably too nice to tell me no,
Yeah.
And he calls me back like a month later, maybe something like that. He goes, "So what did you have in mind?" I'm like, "Well, I want to buy your practice." He goes, "Yeah, that might work for me." I'm like, "Okay, great." So we start setting up the things, and then the big question is a lot of people, they want to work for you a while and kind of just ease into that retirement, get a little easy paycheck,
Well, and for the patients too.
Yeah. And he goes, "So did you want me to stay and work for you, or did you want me to just leave?" And he said it almost exactly like that. So it seemed to me like he would have stayed and work. And I'm like, same thing with Lisa. I'm just ripping off the Band-Aid. I was like, I just want you to sell it to me and retire.
Yeah.
And he goes, again, long pause because it's Bob. He goes, yeah, I think I can do that. So, so we worked it all out, and that's how we ended up here in Newton. So he sold me his practice, and we moved here to Newton 6 years ago.
Yeah. So what have you seen God do here in the last 6 years in your guys' lives?
Oh, man. A lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, our marriage has been healed a lot in the last 6 years, like a lot.
We became friends.
Yeah.
And we weren't before.
Yeah.
We like each other,
Yeah.
and we didn't before. We always loved each other.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of seasons where we didn't like each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've learned how important it is. I think just the healing journey the Lord has taken on us on. Like, we have to do our own work.
Mm-hmm.
You typically, we did, blaming the other person, right? And it's like, you have to do your own work, and then a lot of our marriage issues just faded.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, it's incredibly, like, it's standard now that we have to have our own listening person in our life, whether that's a counselor, spiritual director, mentor, friend, but it has to be a friend that will be honest with you, right? Like, not someone, because we both have lived in seasons where maybe you commiserate with that friend, and it, like, makes the victim stuff higher, if that makes sense. Like, if they have the same issue that you do, right? You just feed off each other. And so really, that's why we both have like a professional in our life and always will. And we've done marriage counseling. We've done it with our kids. Like I want to like normalize that till I want to scream it from the rooftops, because that's what the Lord has led us to, is it's like, and it's doing work with him. So like with spiritual direction, it's somebody that sits there and listens to Jesus with you and prompts you. So it's like, so I've done like the healing encounters. So like I go back to a memory. So like a memory when I left Madison in the hospital, because often, you carry those traumatic moments with you, or you respond to moments in the future from that like young version of yourself, which is usually doesn't have a lot of control of their emotions. And so that traumatized child, that traumatized 15-year-old, and then he triggers that part of me, and I'm responding now like the shamed 15-year-old, retreating, hiding, or whatever. And so, just a simple sitting with the Lord in your imagination, in your mind, and like seeing myself at that age, and then introducing that part of myself to Jesus. And that has been life-changing for the both of us. And I think anything like that, like, and it's not, it takes everything. It takes, science, it takes diet, it takes spiritual, it takes all of those things. But nothing changed fully in my life until I had an encounter like that with the Lord. And I had, prayed and had moments and all of that, but this was different. This was where he literally healed a part of my brain. There's EMDR, there's all of the science versions of stuff he already has, right? Like to me, EMDR and a lot of those processes, which I've done as well in counseling with like PTSD and trauma, this like inner healing or healing in memories with him is the same thing. Like you build pathways. So now when I go back to that memory, I have a pathway built to him. I don't have a pathway that goes to shame and fear and guilt and trauma. It goes right to Jesus.
That's good.
And it happens like that. I mean, that's the coolest part.
Praise God.
And then it just everything comes from that place. So now, when I'm triggered from that place, I have built awareness and I built pathways in my brain that change my experience. So how I treat him, how I treat my kids, like where I operate from is completely different. And I think that's what he took us both on the last 6 years, is just dealing with our crap. Like both of us, like how are you triggered? Where do you try to hold on too tight? Where are you not letting me in the driver's seat? Where are you, like with our business, right? Like it is, and for anyone that believes it's a one and done, no way, right? Like it is a everyday surrendering things over to him.
And it takes humility, right?
Yes.
Because in our pride, we want to say, we're good.
Yeah.
Right.
I really don't have anything I need to work on.
Right.
But we all.
Well, thankful for the hardship.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And we've never been like that. Right. Like it's like something bad coming. It's like, like batten down the hatches. What do we need to do? Panic, panic, panic. And it's so different now. It's like, I wonder what he's got.
Right.
I wonder. I mean, it doesn't mean that like, the blessing is that one of us will go off the rails and the other one won't or something. Right. But like for the most part, it's different now. Like, it's the curiosity and the wonder of knowing who he is. And like, even if something is really hard, we know there'll be a good gift.
Right.
Always.
We have enough reps, knowing
Right.
that the Lord comes through,
Right.
Yeah.
that we know He'll come back through again.
And it
Even
might
if
look
doesn't the
totally
way we want it
different,
to,
right.
Like,
Right.
there's been enough reps where we know that, like, all right, something is going to shake out.
And
from
even
this.
knowing up front, like, I know how I want this to look,
Yeah.
but like,
And he
it's
cares
probably
about
not
that
gonna
too.
look-
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's good.
And I think the business was a playing field, a bigger playing field, right? Like it's always your same junk, but different playing fields. And the playing fields had always been private. And this was the first public playing field, if that makes sense. So, like, how you respond under stress is on display. How you treat people when you have had the business for 1 year and COVID happens and shuts you down for 3 months, that's on display. So, like, it affects other people and there's like more consequences, if that
Yeah.
makes sense. So, like, it was a beautiful time of like, who are we going to be?
Yeah.
Like, who are we? And like, are we actually walking out who we are in the way that we're running our business, treating other people, treating patients? Are we being authentic? Are we being scared? Are we willing to take risks? Like, are we doing this with him? And I think that's our constant, like, thing to go back to of the questions asking ourselves of like, are we doing this with him?
Yeah.
And if we're not, like, you know, he has to check me and I have to check him.
Yeah.
Because
What's it like having a business and wanting to glorify God or to be used by God while running a business? And what, I guess maybe a better question is what opportunities have you had to glorify God and to use your business as maybe a platform or a place, an arena where you get to be a light?
Yeah. That's been that's been evolving for me over the last 6 years. Because I grew up in the Christian school all the way growing up, I actually was kind of rebelled against like letting my light shine, right? Because there was part of it when I was a kid. I was like, I can specifically remember a few instances where kids would be like, "Oh, you think you're better than us because you go to Christian school? Oh, you think you're better than us?" So then,
and that was the public school kids
Yeah.
that would say that to him.
yeah,
me.
and so I remember being like, "Well, I don't want to be different. Like, I'm not going
Yeah.
to act different. So I'm not going to do all the things, right?" And so, for me, praying for somebody that's not a believer or praying for somebody if they don't invite me into that space was really weird. And then because I was so pushing against that, like, I don't want people to think I'm different. I don't want people to think I'm different, you know? And so, like she just said, you carry around trauma from when you were a kid. And I carried that around into adulthood, right? Like, I was comfortable praying in church for somebody if they asked for prayer. Like, that was okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I was comfortable praying with other believers. But if someone comes to me and was like, you know, my brother is sick and has cancer and I'm really worried about him, like, I would have never said, oh, let me pray for you. You know what I
Like
mean?
you would say, I will pray for you.
I
and
will
walk
pray
away.
for you, you know,
Yeah.
later in my house, you know? And, but it was weird for me to do that. And then now it's like this person is a patient in my office. And so it's like, well, if they think I'm weird, they might go somewhere else, you know? And
It's
the
like a
Lord-
double whammy,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Like
yeah.
it's your reputation and your business. Yeah.
And what about the patient in the next chair that can hear me praying for this person? Like, are they going to think I'm weird?
What are
you
the
know?
staff? What's our team gonna
Yeah.
think?
And
Or-
so
yeah.
eventually, at some point, like, I felt like the Lord was like, "Are you in this or you're not? Like,
Yeah.
like, are you or are you not? You know." And so I started off just patients because they'll come in and they'll update their health histories with me, or just a simple. You sit down, I'm like, "Hey, how you been? What's going on?" You know, and then you never know what they might say.
Yeah.
Like, you just never know what they might say. And oftentimes you hear like, "I was just diagnosed with cancer. I'm scared. My husband was diagnosed with cancer. I was scared. My daughter is dealing with issues. I'm scared." You know what I mean? These are all the things that you hear. And I just started off one day. I was just like, it was a patient. It was a perfect opportunity. It was a patient. Loved this lady. Loved her husband. And he had been sick for a long time. And I didn't know if I had a pretty good feeling they were believers, but I didn't know. You know what I mean? I'm like, "Can I pray for you?" And she said, "Yeah." And then I just put my hand on her shoulder and I just prayed. And I think she didn't expect me to do it right then. I didn't even expect myself to do it right then, honestly, you know? And I did. And like, she was just so touched by it, and her husband was so touched by it. And I was touched by it, honestly. And I was like, all right, that was safe. Like, I was okay. You know what I mean? Like, I was okay, you know, because, and then the next thing, you know, like, I started doing it with other people and more and more and more people. And I'm not going to say I do it, 10 times a day, but it's a pretty frequent thing that can happen.
Yeah.
And I have yet to meet a person that has said no to me if I asked to pray for him. I have yet to meet a person that was like, like, no, absolutely not like that. They
Like
don't discuss
offended
about,
or-
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And then, my staff, now they've started like, they'll come in and they'll like touch the person's shoulder. You know what I mean? And then the other room over, sometimes, hey, I heard you praying for that person. That really meant a lot to me, as that kind of stuff. And so that's one way we've been able to really just kind of let the Lord shine. There's been opportunities for us to support things around town, financially support that, which has been good.
Which is something that
and
sorry,
yeah,
can I interrupt?
Yeah.
That was a hard commitment when we first started, right? Because when we bought our practice and we kind of used everything we had to buy our first house, and there kind of wasn't anything left, and you just don't know. That's just a scary thing. But also like that commitment that we really felt like the Lord was saying that like it's like your first fruits, like the commitment to give before you even know if you have enough. Where like sometimes you can wait till the end of the year to figure out how much you have left. That was something that we said from the beginning, no matter what, we were gonna give our first fruits, and there was a certain amount that He asked us to do, and that was scary. It's like, man, it sounds so great, and like, oh, we do this and we do this. That was scary.
Yeah.
Like it's scary to write those checks. Sometimes it's not super fun because you're like,
Did He provide?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
He does.
Yeah.
And that's
He
been
does,
and
yeah.
there's been so many times where He's like, you guys, I'll take care of that stuff. Like
Yeah.
I just want you to be obedient. I want you to run your practice the way that like is authentic and step outside the box, be the weird people.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you guys like take your almost like what it feels like to me is like take your energy to do that
Yeah.
and I got the rest.
Yeah.
And we've seen Him handle that over and over and over again.
Amen.
Yeah. Yeah.
And just even like what it's like, I know in my knower, like there will be people that come into our office and they're like, it just feels different here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's covered in prayer.
Right.
Yeah.
And and then some people don't even know what that is. Some people know it, right?
Yeah.
They're like, I know what this feeling is, but
Yeah.
it's like, there'll be people that say that like, this place just feels different. That matters. And I think that is, again, like, to me, it's that step way back here of like, the more that we do our own work with the Lord, the more that we'll overflow on everything that we
Yeah.
touch. So
Truth.
that is our job. That's our work, is to like spend time with Him, deal with our stuff, so that when we show up there, that we overflow peace and kindness and joy and all of that, even under hard circumstances, even having hard conversations, right? Like we love our team and we work with them on a regular basis. And I want to be a place that we can have hard conversations, and that we're a place that they feel that they can do that, where patience can, where anyone can, and that we both can come to the table and do that. And I think that's like a maybe indirect way of being the light, right? Is like even just communication
Yeah.
with people, like it's just not the norm, like, which is beautiful, right? Like praying with people and doing that stuff, but it's like just what comes out of you when you speak, what comes out of you when you're under stress, what comes out of you when you have a disagreement, what comes out of you when someone's really mad at you, right? Or like any of that. I feel like that matters, I guess, a lot too.
Yeah, that's good. Well, I've enjoyed sitting down with you guys. You were worried we weren't going to have enough content to talk about.
Yeah.
And we're an hour and a half in, man. We could keep going.
I know. That's the problem.
But I'll just say, having gotten to know you, Jonathan, over the years, like I know you love Jesus first. And just in our conversations, because we meet weekly and kind of talk about life and do life together. And your love for Jesus, but then your love for your wife and your families, it's evident. And, that's your heart and your desire.
Thank you.
So
Yeah.
well done. Would it be all right if I pray us out?
Please
And
do.
then I think I hear tornado
warning.
sirens going off. So let's pray. Father God, thank you. Thank you for Jonathan and Lisa. Thank you just for bringing them here, Lord. All those times you've taken them different places separately around the world, Lord, and yet you brought them together, and you've taken them places together, Lord, and it hasn't been easy. But yet, Lord, you've done a work in each one of their hearts, and you've brought them to this place where they love you and they love others, Lord. And so I'm just thankful that they seek you first and want the overflow of what you pour into them, Lord, to impact and influence others in a way that honors and glorifies you, Lord. So we thank you for them. We thank you for choosing laying Newton on their heart to come here to practice, to live, and to care for people here, Lord. And so, Lord, I just pray that you continue to hone their giftings so that they can serve your Big C Church, Lord, and that they can be on the front lines of doing life with others, Lord, and in a way where you will use them to impact hearts, Lord, and change hearts by the presence and power of your Spirit. So, Lord, just fill them, watch over them. We pray also that you protect them, Lord, and just continue to fill their practice and fill their home with your Spirit, and guard those places with your angels, Lord, so that when people are in those places and in their presence, they feel the difference and they know that there's something different about them. And then when they get asked, they can say it's because of you, Jesus. So, Lord, go with them, watch over them, and protect them. Pray this all in Jesus' name. Amen.